Hello there, this is Dr. Grant Schmidt, Superintendent, and I'm here with our business manager, Ms. Tamber Bernal.
Hello.
And this is a presentation on explaining the general basics of our finances and budgeting. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our school district budget in terms of how we put it together, where our money comes from, and where we spend it. So our revenue that we receive is coming from the state as well as local property taxes. Here is a 3-year view of the total revenue that the school district brings in, from which we then develop our budget.
So the school district has several different bank accounts, and I'll explain what each one of those mean and how they affect our budget. With UMB Bank, this is the bank that holds our bond loan. And within there, the property taxes from the bond mill levy are automatically deposited every month as they are collected. Every 6 months, we either have an interest payment or an interest and a principal payment that gets paid for the bond through UMB Bank. Through Colo Trust, this is what holds the majority of our general fund money. This money comes to us from the state. It's an automatic deposit into this bank account from our state equalization. And the state equalization is what is given to us for our per pupil count for the year. They divide it by 12 months and then they make equal installments into that account monthly. Out of Colo Trust, we will transfer money into Farmer State Bank number 1. We have 2 accounts with Farmer State Bank, but the primary account with Farmer State Bank is where we will also receive, and these come to us as checks, but we will deposit them for our Title I money, our property taxes, the bond, as well as our specific ownership taxes for regular property taxes gets automatically deposited into that account. Our READ Act money, our Hold Harmless, our library grant, ELPA, REAP, and any other local revenue will get deposited into Farmer State Bank number 1. In Farmer State Bank number 2, this was a bank account that we had that didn't have any activity in it. And so we started using this account this year for insurance claims that were coming to us from SYR, our self-insurance pool insurance money for damages that they are paying to us for property damage, whether it be roof, hail, water, and we're receiving checks for them, and we are then going to be paying vendors for those repairs. Once that money comes into Farmer State Bank number 2, which I will deposit into there, and when we start receiving bills for them, I will transfer money out of Farmer State Bank number 2 for that exact amount into Farmer State Bank number 1, and then we will pay that payable bill out of Farmer State Bank number 1 from that point. First State Bank, we have 2 accounts with First State Bank. One is for our food services account, and the second is for our activities account, which is for all of our student or group fundraised money. That group or student fundraised money never gets mixed in with general fund money, so we keep it completely separate in First State Bank. Out of those accounts, we also have expenditures for which we pay bills. UMB Bank, again, pays our debt services on our bond, and those are automatic payments out as well as automatic payment or deposits into that account. Colo Trust has automatic money transferred in on the state equalization, but I will manually go into that account and transfer what money is needed to make payroll or accounts payable into Farmer State Bank number 1. Out of Farmer State Bank number 1, we pay all of the payables for the general fund for Fund 10. Out of Fund 23, we will make payments for athletic expenses, supplies, equipment, uniforms, those type things are paid out of Fund 23. And Fund 43 is our capital projects, which right now we have 2 bus payments that we are paying out of there. Again, Farmers State Bank number 2 is the bank account that houses all of our insurance claim money. I will transfer money out of that account into Farmers State Bank number 1 to pay the vendors as the work is being completed. For State Bank number 1, all of the food services payables are paid out of Fund 21 except for major repairs. Those would be paid for out of Fund 10 and out of Fund 23. Again, for First State Bank, that has all of our class fundraised money, all of our activities fundraised money, and as well as all of our athletic fundraised monies are all housed in here, and we pay all expenses for those activities out of this account as well.
Each year, when we build our budget, if there is a positive difference between the revenue and subtracting the expenditures, that is money that goes into our savings account, which we call our fund balance. Board policy DB states that we must meet the state required 3% for the TABOR reserve, which is in case of emergencies. That is per Article 10, Section 20 of the Colorado Constitution. The board has also set an additional 5% should be set aside as an operating reserve that we accumulate by the end of that fiscal year. So altogether, as a minimum, our school district sets aside no less than 8% fund balance from year to year so that we never go below that level. Our fund balance history over the last couple of school years is displayed here. You can see that in 2013-14, we only had a 9.9% fund balance. Going into this school year, it is budgeted that we will have a 12.3% fund balance. Our goal is to continue to increase that fund balance. The reason why is the Government Finance Officers Association has recommended that you maintain no less than 2 months of payroll. And when you look at that 2 months of payroll, it's a little bit less than the 2 months of regular general fund operating revenue for our school district. So the goal is really to reach 16% as our fund balance. This is a display showing that our monthly payroll is somewhere between $185,000 and $195,000. The reason for the range is because not all employees are paid 12 months, as well as sometimes we may have subs and extra duty pay that comes into play. So when we convert that monthly, what that would look like for 2 months is between $370,000 and $390,000. That's what we want to achieve as our minimum fund balance. So when we look at the difference of what we have versus what is recommended by GFAO, in 2014, when we had a fund balance of 9.9%, we were still short $136,000 against the target. For this school year, even though we are at 12.3%, we're going to still be short by approximately $26,000. So it is important for us when we do our budgeting to have a little bit more money left over so that we can fund that difference so that we're on target with GFAO target. As always, if you ever have any questions, feel free to contact me or Tambra at 719-683-2247. Have a wonderful day.